All right, so we're going to be working on strictly the distributive property here. It's such an important concept that needs to be just a basic for you in Algebra 1. So we're just going to repeat until it's automatic. So starting here at the beginning, distributive property, as a rule, would say that any number A times a quantity of B plus C can be simplified to, we multiply this number or variable out front times each one of the ones inside. So A times B is AB, and then A times C is AC, so positive AC. Now, it's not actually a different rule. If there's a subtraction sign in the parentheses, I can write it that way also. A times B minus C. That's actually the same rule, just with a negative number for C. So this would simplify to A times B is AB, and then A times negative C is negative AC. So we're going to use that rule, or if you think of it as two rules, for all 48 of these questions. So 8 times 11 would be 88, and 8 times y is positive 8y. This cannot be simplified any further because 88 and 8y are not like terms. 10 times r and 10 times 6 would give me 10r plus 60. Again, not like terms, can't be simplified any further. 2 times x and 2 times 9 gives me 2x plus 18. And here, 2 times a and 2 times 5 is 2a plus 10. And all of those are already simplified as much as possible. Number 5, 12 times 4 is 48. 12 times z is positive 12z. 3 times x, 3x. 3 times 2, 6. 15 times y, 15y. 15 times 4, 60. 4 times z, 4z. 4 times 3 is 12. Number 9, 8 times 2, 16. 8 times p, 8p. X times y is xy. X times 3 is 3x. A times c, ac. A times 4, 4a. X times y, xy. X times z, xz. All right, when there's 3 terms inside the parentheses, the rule is just extended to say, hey, we're going to distribute this quantity in the front, or it could be behind the parentheses, but the quantity outside the parentheses, we're going to distribute it to every term inside the parentheses. So we're going to do 2 times x, or 2x, 2 times y, 2y, and 2 times z, 2z. And again, there are no like terms there because none of those 3 terms have the same variable portion. 14, 5 times d, 5d. 5 times e, 5e. And 5 times 7, 35. Number 15, 7 times 2, 14. 7 times e, 7e. And 7 times 5, 35. Now I slipped this one in here intentionally to make sure you're watching. If it is possible after distributing to simplify further, then you have to do that. The expression is not simplified as is. We have 2 like terms here, the 14 and the positive 35. So 14 plus 35 is 49 plus 7e. Now, remember that it does not matter what order you write the terms in, as long as the sign in front of each one stays the same. So we could also write this as 7e plus 49. since both of those terms, the 49 and the 70, both of them are positive. Number 16, P times Q is PQ, P times R, PR, and P times S, PS. So number 17, Z times A is AZ, Z times 4 is 4Z, and Z times B is BZ. Now, I guess this is as good a time as any to talk about when we're multiplying two variables, it's not incorrect to write it as ZA. I wrote AZ because the standard way is to always, when you have more than one variable, to write them in alphabetical order. So that's why I wrote AZ and BZ. A number times a variable, the standard way is to write the number, which is called the coefficient, in front of the variable. Number 18, FG plus 3F plus FH. Number 19, 10 times 2 is 20, plus 10Y, plus 10Z. Okay. Now, I think this is the first one on the paper where we have the number outside the parentheses is a negative. So make sure you are considering that when you distribute this number, it's a negative 6 that you are multiplying. So negative 6 times 8 is negative 48, and negative 6 times, this is a negative p. Negative times negative is positive 6p. And again, it doesn't matter the order you wrote these, so if for some reason it bothered you to start with a negative term there, this is exactly the same as writing 6p minus 48. Since the 6p stayed positive and the 48 stayed negative, they are exactly the same answer. Right. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 3 is 6. Again, you could also write that as 6 minus 2x, which is just as good. Negative 2 times y, negative 2y. Negative 2 times positive 9 is negative 18. 7 times negative 2y, negative 14y, plus 21. 3 times z, 3z. 3 times negative 1, negative 3. 25, 4 times negative x, negative 4x. 4 times negative 2, negative 8. Now, 26, I think this is the first time on here that I've put the number which is outside the parentheses behind it. It doesn't change anything about the distributive property since there's the commutative property for multiplication, meaning the order you write two quantities in when they're multiplied, the order doesn't make any difference. So I can distribute this 3 times 2 and 3 times 5x. Again, it doesn't matter which order I write those in. I can write 15x plus 6 or 6 plus 15x. 5 times 2m is 10m. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. Negative 4 times negative 2x is 8x. And negative 4 times positive 3 is negative 12. Again, make sure you're keeping the sign in front of the number has to stay with the number. So there's no point where you are just bringing this positive right here down. It was a negative times a positive, so my 12 is negative. Okay, on 29, negative 6 times negative 3z is positive 18z, and then plus 12. Positive 1x, or just x, negative 1 times negative 10 is positive 10. Okay, another one from the rear. 7 times negative 2x is negative 14x. 7 times 1 is 7. 4x, 12y, and 4, all positive. 6y minus 10p minus 8. Negative 5a, negative 10b, and positive 30. Okay, again, the 3 is in the back. It's okay. 3 times x, 3x. 3 times negative 2y, negative 6y. 3 times 7, 21. The negative 5 in the back, still distributed to both. So negative 5 times 3x, negative 15x. Negative 5 times negative 2, positive 10. Three times x, 3 times 2. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 5 is positive 20. 7 times 3, 21. 7 times negative x, negative 7x. Negative 6x minus 24. Negative 3 times 8 is negative 24. Negative 3 times negative x, positive 3x. Negative 2 times x, negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 5, positive 10. X times 5, 5x. And we're doing this for the first time on this assignment. X times another of the same variable. So x times negative x is negative, and then x times x is x to the second, x squared. These are still not like terms because their variable portion, the x and the x squared, they don't match exactly. It's the same letter, but not the same exponent. So that is simplified as is. So x times 3, 3x. X times x, x squared. $32x minus 16. 2x squared. Now that's because this is really a 1x, so I multiply the coefficients. 1 times 2 is 2, and then x times x is x squared. Minus 1x. Okay. Negative x times 3x is negative 3x to the second. And then negative x times 2 is negative 2x. And last one here, negative 4x times 6x is negative 24x to the second. And then negative 4x times negative 1 is positive 4x.